Well, Wanda, thank you so much for joining Seed and I for this interview. It's a pleasure to meet you virtually, and I can't wait to get into this today.
Well, I'm very excited to be here, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my story.
Yeah, of course. It's like after seeing your success so far, we're super excited to spotlight it. Yeah, we'll get right into it. So, I was wondering what inspired you to create We Decide, and how did your experience as a divorce financial analyst shape the vision behind it?
So, when I actually took my designation as a divorce financial analyst, my vision was we decide right from the very beginning. I wanted to create a holistic approach, but truly, it was the dawn of the COVID pandemic. And it was actually my own personal challenges with mobility that forced me to have to adapt my business model and to embrace a more online, more automated kind of flow. So I think it was a combination of my experience as a divorce financial analyst that wanted me to reach more people, but it certainly was the COVID pandemic that brought it to life.
Okay, I see. And do you think, in retrospect, the online presence actually helped your business rather than was like a hurdle?
It made my business. The online
Yeah.
approach is my business because just being able to have accessibility and have a greater reach. So when I went into this, I believe it was at the very beginning of my involvement with the SEED program. I attended a presentation with a local company from Atlantic Canada, and he had said something while I was attending that presentation that stuck with me ever since. And he said, think global from day one.
I see.
And
Hmm.
so I started thinking, how do I make this automated? How do I reach more people? So it began as a consultancy, but then turned into a movement with the online approach.
That's amazing because I know for a lot of small businesses, COVID was a big hurdle that um, so it's amazing that you were able to spin that into doing. That's awesome to hear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know divorce can be such a difficult mix of emotional and financial strain on anybody who goes through it. I was wondering, how does We Decide balance compassion with also providing practical financial guidance at the same time?
So one recent development in addition to my process and to We Decide is I just partnered with an international divorce coach. And so that's the big announcement that I had made in the last week that finally now We Decide is actually an international reach. So it's not just helping people in Atlantic Canada or Newfoundland.
Mhm.
We are actually bringing this now all across the United States and North America wide. And so, how we balance that compassion with the clarity and to kind of keep that, we'll say, the line in the sand between the financial and the emotional, which has been a challenge for me all along. By bringing a divorce coach on, she can help individuals now to focus on the emotional and the practical side of it. And then paired up with me with the financial background, we can explore the different options and the financial feasibility of it. So combining both the emotional and the practical and the financial pieces with two skills, I think is going to be a real game changer for us. And it's proving to be already.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I mean, just the fact that you can expand outside of Canada is already a huge thing, a huge stepping stone. But now, um,
So we've added now, I'm ecstatic because like I
yeah,
said, it was the balancing of what you just asked, the balancing of the compassion and the financial that led me to want to bring other skill on board because as a consultancy, when I was working with individuals, what I found is I was constantly asking them to put the emotional piece in the parking lot and
I
let's just
see.
focus on the numbers.
Right.
And for me to maintain that true neutrality as a financial kind of down the middle, like financial neutral,
Hmm.
I don't want to be playing around with the emotional part of it and having more knowledge about the emotions than I need to, because then that changes how I view a possibility of or a scenario of division. Makes me want it for them more. possibly than I should. Not that I've ever had any incidences where that has been the case or bothered or has any impact on my business and my work. But bringing Julie Desmond on, a certified ADR and DCA coach, divorce coach, it keeps that separate and apart and keeps it cleaner.
Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful idea because, yeah, not only does taking her on expand you to different countries, but it also helps expand your offerings and make it that much better and a better client experience now. So that's really great to hear.
We just partnered with someone else. So we just added another
Mm.
person to the mix. So effectively right now, anybody who is anywhere in Canada, the United States, anywhere in North America, if they have an issue with the family home, just the family home, they don't have any other assets or children or any other issues to sort, just the family home,
Mm.
we have the full team that can wrap around right from they have to want to explore it. I can help them financially feasibly flush it out. And then we have a certified divorce lending professional who can put together the mortgage and the closing, and we can take them from start to finish without having to send them outside for all of North America now.
Wow.
And in French, English, and Spanish.
No way. What a service. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
so we are
Huh.
taking over North America, just the family home. That's just
Yeah,
the one piece.
that's amazing. And congratulations for expanding so quickly. That's very impressive. It's great to
Thank you
see.
so much. Yeah. Well, it's not been quickly. I've been working on this for 10 years. I've
Right.
been strategically finding the right people to join the team. And so alignment just started flowing and the right people started to show up.
That's great. And now that you've expanded your offerings and moving towards more humane and equitable divorce experiences through this service, have you noticed any real world impact that you're starting to see among users that really stood out to you so far?
Absolutely. I've actually had professionals from all over North America. I have presented my concept as a beta earlier back in the beginning of this year. And so I've gotten some great feedback and validation from, I actually have a recommendation going to be going on my LinkedIn from a Harvard graduate PhD.
No way.
So I have been bringing this to people, thought leaders throughout our country and throughout the United States, because I didn't want to build it and then expect people to come. I wanted to do it right first. And so before I even moved this into a defined product, I made sure to take it and bring it to the professionals and to individuals. So I've had some individuals from a personal standpoint use this, and I've had some professionals, like I said, all the way up to a Harvard PhD who's going to give me a recommendation. So yeah, it's having an impact. And the biggest thing is being able to measure that social impact and to put it against the traditional business model that we're used to.
Speaking of being able to keep track of your impact through numbers, I was wondering, how do you see technology and social innovation transforming the way families navigate separation conflict in the next 5 years? And how do you think technology will help quantify your impact?
That's a really good question and something I'm really excited to share. I mean, the buzzword of the century, I think, has been the word AI, right?
Yeah.
And so AI is prominent and everybody's talking about AI, but to be able to roll out AI in an emotional space when you know that AI can't think emotionally,
Hmm.
and to also be able to roll out AI in this space when AI can't count properly. So the
Right.
two areas that I focus on are the weakness of technology, essentially. And the biggest question has been, how do we roll out something like this in technology? And everybody's trying to put together case law and they're all focused on the legal aspect. So I embraced AI for the things and I embraced technology to strengthen and to complement the skills that I already have. And so I just wrote an article actually on LinkedIn, and it's called AI Won't Replace the Right People. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't have to worry about COVID. It doesn't have to worry about the bad coffee in the office, but there are certain things that AI can't replace, and the human component to what I'm doing is one piece that's got to stay almost as the cornerstone of everything I'm doing. So what technology has been able to do for me is to take my existing skill set, take everything that I've already completed and put together and produced, but to make it enhanced and to do a review, for example. So I used AI to actually do a global checklist on what I've created and put it up against every measurement for any type of educational operation education, and to make sure that for privacy, for non-binary, for trauma informed, for jurisdictional, to make sure that it doesn't infringe on practicing law when I'm not a lawyer, to ensure that it's not giving out mental health advice when I'm not a mental health professional. I took it and created a system using AI to be able to check my work as if I was a professional auditor. And so that's how AI and technology can help shape what I'm doing. It kind of identifies roadblocks and risks for me. And I created my own chief operating officer named Benny.
Oh yeah.
And so I've been able to create people and resources that I need that I wouldn't be able to find and hire.
Right.
But it's been able to increase the amount of employment that I can do in other capacities.
That's amazing. And I think that's such a great way to look at AI, because AI can be an amazing tool, but it's never the end all be all, because it's only as good as the data and the prompts and the person, whoever's using it, right? So
100%. If you're going to ask AI, for example, what is 2 plus 2?
mhm.
And it comes back and tells you that it's 5. I mean, yeah, sure, we could be in the matrix like everybody's talking about. But if you don't know what 2 plus 2 is before you ask AI, maybe you should have that knowledge first. And that's where people are falling short. They don't have the knowledge and they're just trusting that whatever AI spits out is the right answer.
Right. That's a good
But
point as
if you
well.
have the knowledge and you know that 2 plus 2 is 4, when I ask AI, for example, to do time value of money calculations for me, I
Mhm.
know how to use my time value of money calculator. I know how to calculate a mortgage or calculate the value of something 10 years down the road.
Right.
Having already the answer, I can know when AI is wrong. So that's
Yeah.
where the real kind of, I guess, the value of AI is to validate your answers and to validate your work and to polish it, but not to do it.
Yes, exactly. And to automate the mundane tasks that you would just be a time waster, and you wouldn't, it just isn't productive. But yeah, like you said, it's all about the quality of the prompt and who's using it, because if someone uneducated is using that AI, it wouldn't be any use anyways, right?
Absolutely. And then there's also your due diligence to make sure that you check your work. I mean, would you
Yeah,
submit
absolutely. You
something
can't
to
just
the,
blindly trust it, right?
right? Like, would you do a thesis and then submit it to the university after you've completed without reading it? I mean, some people probably would, but would you? You know?
No, definitely not. Yeah, you have to check all the sources and make sure they're approved by the university or the scholarly sources and all those things. There's a lot more that goes into it, rather than just a simple prompt and just take whatever it gives you. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And measure twice, cut once.
Yes, exactly. That's a great way to put it. Um, Looking back at your time at LIU, um, how do you find your time there helped you build the mindset or skill set that ultimately led you to launch We Decide, or help it expand?
Well, I will tell you, the my experience at LIU um, showed me that it wasn't just about asking for funding, it was about
Mm-hmm.
communicating value.
I see.
And that's one of the biggest switches in mindset. It's kind of like that phrase, it's not about giving up, it's about letting go. When you see things differently, you can't go back to seeing it the way before. And
I
it
see.
was so instrumental for me to do the program because when I completed the Investor Ready program, for example,
Hmm.
That changed the way that I seen pitch decks and standing up in front of investors. And it couldn't have come at a better time because I was the only Canadian company last year picked to participate in an accelerator for justice tech in San Francisco, California, at the
Wow.
University of San Francisco School of Law. So I participated in this Lex Lab accelerator, and it was after I had completed the Investor Ready program. I couldn't unsee the language to use in that presentation. And I had people come up to me afterwards and tell me what a great job that I did with the presentation. But that program that I completed, the Investor Ready, gave me the confidence to stand up in front of a room, in front of all of those people in California that I'd never stepped foot into a law school before, let alone in California, let alone
Hmm.
just after coming off a wheelchair and being able to walk for the first time in years.
Right.
So that gave me my anchor. And I actually wore a shirt that had the picture of an anchor on it.
Hmm.
Right? So it taught me to have an anchor. It taught me to be an anchor and not necessarily in the in the physical state because I was an anchor for a long time.
Right.
But it gave me the confidence I needed.
That's amazing. That's so good to hear that you got so much out of it. And yeah, if it weren't for that program, it sounds like you wouldn't have been able to thrive at the event as much as you did. So that's really
It
great to
just
hear.
Yeah, and I mean, another point that I wanted to make is just knowing the right language to phrase it
Right.
in a positive way and to be about growth and about forward thinking and not get caught up on the struggles and the things that haven't worked or the mistakes that you've made.
Hmm.
Because as entrepreneurs, we're always beating ourselves up of what we're not doing right or what we're not doing enough of. So
Yeah.
going into a pitch presentation, it just seems that you would be anxious, expecting all of those questions, but to be
Yeah.
able
It's only
to
natural
be
when you care about your business so much to be a little bit nervous at times.
and
But
you have a lot on the line, right? So the emotions are running high and having that positive frame and being able to dodge a negative based question and turn it into a positive, that skill set is vital for entrepreneurs.
yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, no matter how amazing your business might be and no matter how passionate you might be about it, those things don't matter if you can't communicate it effectively to the people who matter, right? So building those skills to be able to do that effectively, I'm sure made a huge difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the support, it was just amazing.
Yeah,
So
was there like apart from the courses, were there any like mentors or people that you met within LIU that made a big difference in your journey?
well, I will tell you, Dr. Ellen Farrell will always be somebody that stands out, and I will always be grateful for her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so she absolutely stood out.
Right.
And Werner Muller, is another person.
Oh,
He would
amazing.
meet with me and have conversations with me, and I've just been holding off telling him how great I've done now because I want him to see that I've made it, and because it's been a journey. It's been I've been 10 years at this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's so great to see that or hear that a couple of people within the LIU program made such a positive impact.
Absolutely. I can't speak enough and I can't speak highly. Anybody who goes through your program, I wish that they will have the opportunity to work with Dr. Farrell, Dr. Ellen Farrell, and with uh, Werner Muller.
Absolutely. I'll be sure to pass
And
that
I'm
along.
hoping that I'm pronouncing that all correctly.
No, you are for sure. I know we're in yeah. And yeah, finally, one question I like to ask at the end of every interview is what advice would you give to future LIU students or just aspiring entrepreneurs who want to um, you know, do something similar to you, like combining professional expertise with social impact?
I would suggest that they start with their why.
Hmm.
Start with your why, because if you are not, I'm not saying if you're committed and passionate, it's
Hmm.
something that can help you hold on because this is not easy.
Right.
I've I have struggled. I have met with challenges. And sometimes even celebrating, you're celebrating alone. So if you're doing something for social impact, like, it's going to take a lot of grit. It's going to
Yeah,
take a lot of hard work. So if you start with your why, that will give you more leverage and more fuel to get through the tough times.
absolutely. That's a great point, because
Right? And
sometimes,
there's no magic pill.
hmm
There's no magic button that you can hit. The only thing that's magic is hard work. Activity breeds results, plain and simple.
absolutely, absolutely. That's a great point. And I was wondering, um, how did you find your why? Like, I know that it's very important to find your why, and then once you have it, it's a motivator to keep you going through the tough times. But was there a single moment or a time in your life where you kind of realized, wow, this is my why?
Actually, yeah, I believe it was in 2017, it definitely was 2017. I've been
Okay.
working in the finance industry, helping individuals to accumulate wealth and to build wealth. And then I came across individuals that were wanting to unravel the wealth because they were going through separation.
I
And I
see.
just found that there was no one there to fill that gap. So
Ah,
I actually acquired formal education in 2017. I acquired a designation as a divorce financial analyst through the Institute of Divorce Financial Analysts in the United States. And one of the colleagues that I worked with at the time said to me, "You should run from that burning building." And my reply to
really?
him was, "I'm gearing up and I want to run in." And I ran in, that was 2017. My
Mhm.
family think I'm crazy. Most people think I'm crazy because I have thought about this and tried to get this going for all of that time. But my why was, I've seen too many people lose their home and lose valuable money in a process that needs to change. And
Absolutely.
I've witnessed individuals just, they deteriorate their mind, their mindset, their mental health, and all for what? Just to fight it out in court unnecessarily. And I just knew there had to be a better way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very fascinating to hear where you found your why, and I can totally attest to that. You see firsthand. I'm sure everybody knows someone who's been through this negative experience, and it can consume someone's life. So, yeah, good for you for seeing
Yeah,
that need and realizing that no one else was really doing it the way you could do it.
thank you. Thank you for
Mhm.
that. And I did want to add one thing, and I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, of course.
I'm very passionate about helping vulnerable sectors. So one
I
of the pieces that I've created and one of the tools in my toolkit is to address financial literacy and clarity for veterans. I have a brother who's a veteran,
Mhm.
and so seeing how difficult it can be for individuals who are veterans to go through separation and pain and suffering, compensation and how that's treated, just,
Of
I'm
course.
very passionate. So one of my whys is definitely to help veterans.
Yeah,
Another
that's
one of
that's great.
another one of my whys is to help people who are being financially coerced or
Mm.
financially controlled.
I
And
see.
so it's a form of partner violence, but it's also right now, I mean, we're seeing people lose so much money in the court system, and then if there's any type of financial coercion. So I created a national and an international contact list for any number, for shelters, for anybody in a domestic partner violence or financial coercion situation. And for example, I've got that formulated now for Canada, the US, the UK, Australia, and I will have it for India. And I already have it in French and English and Spanish. And now I've
Uh,
got it done for every province in Newfoundland and Labrador, or every province in Canada, forgive me, and for every state in the United States. So that's
that's
one
amazing.
piece of what I've been doing, is to be able to give people the need and the names and the contacts that they need in the event. So that's another part of my why. My why is big. And when I tell
Right.
you, we
Mhm.
decide as a movement, I've only introduced you to three pieces. There's about 10.
No, that's amazing. And yeah, of course, there's nothing wrong with having one why and then watching it evolve into many different whys. That's the that's what everybody would hope for, right?
And creating and using AI can make that faster. And that's where I've used those resources, creating, like I said, my own chief operating officer, Benny, and being able to get Benny to help me with some of the pieces that I haven't been able to fill myself. And so
Mhm.
then I'm just like, I'm flying with creating when I've got all of the pieces in place, right? So
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, that wraps up our Scene Spotlight interview. I wanted to thank you again so much for joining Cedar and I for this interview. It was wonderful talking to you and learning about your entrepreneurial journey. If there's anything last that you want to share with us before we go, this is your moment.
well, I am on a mission to launch and to bring the We Decide movement to every corner on this planet. And so, for any entrepreneurs out there, I'm going to pass on the same piece of wise wisdom that I got when I first began is think global from day one.
Amazing. That's a great way to end off the interview. Thanks so much, Wanda.
And I'm going to say visit wedecide.ca, reach out. I've got a contact form there. If you want to just drop a line, if you want to get involved, reach out.